So hello, welcome to the video and welcome to Manila Airport. Had about a day and a half in Manila. It's only the second time I've been back since I actually lived here for about 6 months 18 years ago, and the place really has changed. It's going to take me a day or two to get my head around what I think of those changes, but it is good to see the place developing and growing. I will make a video about my time in Manila and also my time in the destination I'm flying on to today, which is Puerto Princesa in the beautiful tropical island of Palawan. Still part of the Philippines, but about an hour and a half's flight south. But before I check in, I think I probably have to go and have a little bit of an argument with Philippine Airlines. This has not been an easy ticket to book. You'd think it would have been easy, but there's been some strange things happen on the way through. So if you'd like to hear what's happened and see what is still to happen, stick around. Hi, I'm Matt and this is Matt's Planet. I aim to entertain, educate and inspire with my travel adventures from planning to execution. I'll show you how you can travel in style for a lot less than you'd think. So subscribe so you can come with me. I booked this one-way flight about 2 months before travel and I paid £80 for a business class seat. I thought that was good value for that cabin on this short flight. Premium cabin flights make for better videos and it meant I could review the Philippine Airlines lounge. 2 weeks later I was notified of a seat change, just a seat change, but some quick research revealed that the equipment had changed to a plane without a business cabin, so I'd been moved to a premium economy seat. I waited a week or so to see if I got anything else from them about refunds or rebooking options, but nothing came. I wasn't too bothered though, as it wasn't an expensive ticket. I was most concerned about losing lounge access, as that's always an important part of the video. So I had a web chat with the airline, and they assured me that as I still had a business class ticket, I would still have the privileges that brought. I'd just be sitting in a premium economy seat on the plane. A little annoying, but that was okay for me. It really wasn't a big deal. Then the night before travel, I got notification of a refund arising from the downgrade, even though I didn't want a refund and was promised that I wouldn't get one. And that refund was to be given in the form of a travel voucher valid for 1 year on Philippine Airlines. The chances of me flying with them again within 12 months is precisely 0, so that was as useful to me as a chocolate teapot. At this point, I hadn't paid any attention to the quantum of that refund. The desk agent first tried to evict me from the business class check-in area as I had ended up with only an economy ticket, but I explained what had happened, and Philippine Airlines then gave a textbook demonstration of how to handle this sort of situation. As a customer, I ended up very happy. If I was a shareholder, I'd be really quite concerned, and if I was their internal auditor, I would be downright alarmed. Long story short, the desk agent scurried off to talk to her supervisor. It took a while, but she came back and said no problem, I could still check in with her, could still use the lounge, and instead of a voucher, they would give me the refund in cash. I actually repeated that I didn't even want the refund, but she insisted, and I got the impression that the airline was legally compelled to give it to me. The only negative really was that the agent insisted on weighing my hand luggage, which came in at around 9 kilos, over the 7 kilo limit, so she made me check it in. Annoying, but as I had no onward connections and was in no real hurry at the other end, it wasn't a big deal. So this was Terminal 2, which exclusively handles domestic flights, mostly for Philippine Airlines. Security was at the far end of the terminal, and as the queue was minimal, I didn't even look to see if there was a premium lane, and I was quickly through. There's a couple of lounges airside and I headed into the first I came across. The desk agent wanted to send me to the other lounge and I didn't really understand why, but when I explained about the downgrade and that someone was going to fine me with some cash, they let me in. This was November the 10th and the Philippines takes Christmas seriously. The Mabuhay Lounge by Gate 7 is not perhaps the finest lounge in Asia, but it was nice enough. Food here to the left along with drinks just beyond. It was quite busy actually, but there were plenty of seats in this far area. Even further along was an inner sanctum for the airline's loyalty scheme Million Milers, none of whom were travelling that day. Seats only, no additional catering provided for them. Juices and soft drinks here, then cold breakfast options beyond. Quite a Filipino spread, as you'd expect, with some stuff I struggle to identify and other stuff, like churros, that I could identify but probably wouldn't eat for breakfast, even though it is a traditional Spanish breakfast treat. There was also a hot station with the heat and the liquid added to a pre-prepared bowl from those tureens behind. Again, very Filipino fare. There was no bar though, just a manned station dispensing beers. This was perhaps 8 AM, and I don't know if the alcoholic range offered widens later in the day. Let me know in the comments if it does. A pleasant hour passed, during which I finally looked at how much cash I was going to have delivered to me. Imagine my surprise when I realised it was £115, which is £35 more than I'd originally paid for the ticket. And a little later on, a nice lady delivered 8,500 pesos to me in cash. So Philippine Airlines effectively paid me 35 quid to take this flight and threw in lounge access as a bonus. Shareholders could be concerned, and the fact that they have so much cash lying around should be a concern to their internal auditors. But they handled it brilliantly. The customer certainly came first here. My memory of transiting this terminal was that it was a bit grim, but looking back at the footage, it really doesn't seem too bad. The longest domestic flight in the country will be less than 2 hours in length, so the terminal doesn't perhaps need too many facilities. Although there was quite a large booze shop for a domestic terminal with no duty free. I had a little bit to do with Fundador when I lived in the country, so I always take a moment to look at the latest products and to reminisce a little about the fun experiences I had. Our chariot today was at the gate and was a 13-year-old Airbus A320 which has been with PAL since delivery and did not have, and never has had, a business cabin. Boarding started on time. I never really worked out how the boarding groups worked, but as I was in one of the most premium seats, I assumed they'd let me through first, and indeed they did. Down the jet bridge to the plane. A 4-star airline, allegedly, although I'm going to take a wild guess that the accolade, and this sticker, was given to them some years ago. Seat 2A for me that day, no shocks there if you're a regular viewer, and a pillow, blanket and bottle of water were waiting for me on the seat, positively luxurious for a flight blocked to take 90 minutes. 34 inches of pitch in these front two premium economy rows, but that narrows sharply to 28 inches further back. That is really tight for the taller traveller. Unfortunately, the seat back wouldn't stay upright, and my stomach muscles aren't up to holding myself upright through takeoff and landing. So with the crew's approval, I moved forward into the empty first row to a seat that actually worked. Excellent legroom here, even if you lose a whisker of seat width by having the tray table come out of the armrest. Overhead lights and air vents too. The doors closed and we pushed back a couple of minutes early, although the window in row 1 was probably the grimiest I've ever encountered. The airport's terminals are on the edges of the facility, which makes it a nightmare to connect between terminals, but the runway is in the middle, so you'll never have a long taxi, and we were quickly up into a lovely Manila morning. The flight was blocked for 90 minutes, but we ended up being in the air for only 57, so the crew were busy. The half dozen of us in the premium economy cabin had a choice of vegetarian or salmon sandwich. Unusual for the carnivorous option to be salmon, but I have to say it was superb. Washed down with an apple juice, an unusual choice for me, but it hit the spot. I honestly don't know if alcoholic options are available, as I was quite happy to stay dry that morning. The crew also seemed to offer a basic drink service to the economy cabin behind us. That sandwich was followed by a snack. Wasabi peas without the wasabi basically, but very yummy all the same. So after a very good ground experience where the customer clearly came first, it was a great onboard crew, surprisingly good catering, and the views out of the window were pretty good too. And Philippine Airlines paid me £35 to have this experience. Okay, my original seat was broken, but as we come into land I have very little negative to say about this experience. PAL isn't in a global alliance, so people may not consider them, as status benefits cannot be carried over from any other airline. And I've heard that the PAL experience isn't always this good, but based on this experience, I'd certainly consider flying with them again when I'm next in the region. No jet bridges in Puerto Princesa, so we pulled into our parking stand and I experienced something that was a first for me. At the bottom of the stairs was a stack of umbrellas being demonstrated as sunshades, but also no doubt handy when it's raining here. I've not seen that before, didn't take it up myself, but it is a nice option to have. The airport advertises itself as Puerto Princesa International Airport, although there seems to only be one seasonal service from here to Taipei, so it ended up being quite a long walk around the outside of the terminal building to reach the domestic arrivals entrance. A nice sunny day for a stroll though, and eventually we made it inside, and I was crushed to learn I just missed the Dragon Boat World Championships. My bag arrived fairly swiftly and I was straight out. This is the island of Palawan, replete with nature I'm told, but not so much in Puerto Princesa itself as things turned out. But I'll save that for a video I'm making about my experiences in the Philippines. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Give the video a like if you did, and please leave me a comment. Would you fly Philippine Air? Please consider subscribing if you're new, and if you'd like to support what I'm doing, there is a Patreon account, the link to which is below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.